My name is Thomas Brennan. I'm 98 years old. For 79 years, I've kept a secret that the U.S. Navy ordered me never to speak about. In 1945, I was a sonar technician aboard the USS Lionfish, a Belau-class submarine operating in the Pacific Theater. We were hunting Japanese shipping lanes in the waters between Okinawa and mainland Japan. On March 23, 1945, at 0342 hours, I detected something on sonar that shouldn't exist. Over the next 6 weeks, every time we surfaced to recharge our batteries, every single time, it was there, waiting. Our captain, Commander James Hartley, filed 17 separate reports. They were all classified immediately. When we finally returned to Pearl Harbor in May 1945, our logs were confiscated, the crew was separated and reassigned, and we were ordered never to speak of what we encountered. Commander Hartley died in 1963. In his personal effects, his family found a sealed letter with instructions to open it only after his death. The letter contained a single sentence: "They should have sent us back. We left it down there." 6 months ago, I received a declassified Navy document under a Freedom of Information Act request. It confirmed what I witnessed, but it also revealed something worse. We weren't the only submarine. This is what really happened in the depths of the Pacific in 1945. The USS Lionfish departed Pearl Harbor on February 18, 1945. Our orders were standard: patrol the East China Sea, interdict Japanese supply lines, provide reconnaissance for the upcoming invasion of mainland Japan. I was 19 years old, sonar technician 3rd class. This was my second war patrol. Chief Petty Officer Robert Martinez ran the sonar station. In a 1992 interview, one of the few times he ever spoke about our patrol, Martinez described our crew. We were good, disciplined. We'd already sunk 3 Japanese transports. The men trusted each other. That made what happened harder to accept. For the first month, the patrol was routine. We sank 2 cargo vessels, we dodged depth charges from a destroyer, standard submarine warfare. Then, on March 23rd, everything changed. At 0342 hours, we were running submerged at 150 feet, approximately 180 miles southeast of Okinawa. I was on sonar watch when I detected an acoustic signature. My patrol log, which I kept hidden for 79 years, records what I heard. Bearing 347, range approximately 2,000 yards. Contact making 8 knots, steady course. Signature does not match known Japanese or American vessels. No propeller cavitation, no engine noise. Just something moving through the water. I reported to Chief Martinez. He put on the headset and listened for 30 seconds. In his 1992 interview, Martinez recalled, "I've been listening to sonar for 15 years. I know every ship in both navies by sound signature. This wasn't a ship. The acoustic profile was biological, like a whale, but it was too large, and it was maintaining course and speed too precisely. We tracked it for 2 hours. It maintained bearing 347 at exactly 8 knots, never varying, never turning. At 0540 hours, we lost contact when it dove below our sonar range, below 1,500 feet. Commander Hartley ordered us to continue patrol. We didn't report the contact because we couldn't identify it. 24 hours later, we surfaced to recharge our batteries. That's when we saw it. Submarines in World War II operated on diesel-electric power. Every 24-48 hours, we had to surface to run our diesel engines and recharge the batteries. This was our most vulnerable moment. On March 24 at 22:30 hours,
we surfaced into darkness. The sea was calm, visibility good, moon 3/4 full. Lieutenant Robert Chan was officer of the deck. His official report, declassified in 2024, states, surfaced without incident, commenced battery charge. At 22:37 hours, lookout reported object in water approximately 500 yards off starboard beam. Object appeared as dark mass, partially submerged, no visible superstructure or lights, assumed to be debris or possibly disabled vessel. I was below decks, but I heard the captain order the searchlight trained on the object. Seaman First Class William Kohler was the lookout who first spotted it. In a letter he wrote to his sister in 1946, discovered in family papers in 2003, Kohler described what he saw. The searchlight hit it, and I felt my blood go cold. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a whale. It was smooth and dark and huge, maybe 200 feet long. But what terrified me was that it had been keeping pace with us. When our light hit it, it sank. Not fast, not slow. Just descended straight down, maintaining its position relative to us the whole time. Commander Hartley observed through the periscope before we surfaced. He saw nothing. The object had appeared in the 7 minutes between our periscope observation and surfacing. It was waiting for us to surface. We dove immediately and moved to a new position 30 miles away. 48 hours later, we surfaced again. Different location, different conditions. It was there. Same position, 500 yards off our starboard beam. Same size, same behavior. When our searchlight hit it, it descended. Chief Martinez's report. The probability of encountering the same debris or marine life at two separate locations over 30 miles apart is effectively zero. Whatever this was, it was tracking us. Commander Hartley filed his first classified report via radio transmission to ComSubPac, Commander Submarine Force U.S. Pacific Fleet. He received no response. Over the next 6 weeks, we surfaced 23 times. It appeared at 22 of those surfacings. Always 500 yards off starboard beam, always partially submerged, always sinking when illuminated. On April 7th, during our 9th surface encounter, something changed. It stayed up.
Commander Hartley made a decision that violated standard operating procedure. Instead of immediately diving when we detected the object, we would remain surfaced and observe. His reasoning, documented in his personal log, if this is an enemy vessel or weapon, we need to identify it. If it's something else, the Navy needs to know what's in these waters. Either way, running from it serves no purpose. On April 7th, at 0145 hours, we surfaced. The object appeared as usual. This time, we kept the searchlight off. Lookouts observed with binoculars and night vision equipment. Seaman Kohler's letter. Without the searchlight, we could see it better. It wasn't black, it was dark gray, like wet cement. The surface was smooth, no rust or barnacles. It rose and fell with the waves, but it didn't bob like debris. It moved like something breathing. We observed for 11 minutes. Then, Executive Officer Lieutenant Commander Paul Morrison made a suggestion that would haunt us. Captain, request permission to launch the ship's whaleboat for closer examination. Hartley agreed. At 0203 hours, 6 crew members launched the whaleboat, a small motorboat used for transferring personnel and supplies. Lieutenant Morrison commanded. Radioman Second Class Jack Foster accompanied to maintain radio contact with the submarine. The plan: approach to within 50 yards, observe, do not make physical contact, return to submarine within 15 minutes. Foster's transmission log survived. It was included in the declassified documents. 0205. Whaleboat away. proceeding to contact. Estimate 5 minutes to approach position. 0207. Contact remains stationary. Visibility good. Object appears approximately 180-200 feet in length. No visible superstructure. Surface appears smooth, possibly metallic or organic. Cannot determine. 0219. Approaching 100 yards. The object has not moved. Water around the object appears normal. No disturbance or thermal effects observed. 0210. Reducing speed. 50 yards from contact. Object appears to be... Sir, the object appears to have texture, not smooth. There are patterns, geometric patterns, across the surface. 0211. 30 yards. The patterns are moving. Repeat, the patterns on the surface are shifting. Recommend we... On the submarine, we heard the radio cut out. Then we heard Morrison screaming over the open channel. Yeoman Second Class Arthur Hayes was monitoring communications. His testimony, given privately to investigators in 1945. Morrison was screaming, "Get us out! Get us back!" Then we heard Foster screaming. Then we heard the engine rev up. Then silence. The whaleboat returned at high speed. As it approached the submarine, we could see the crew members hunched in the boat. They weren't rowing. They were staring back at the object. Morrison and the crew came aboard. They were soaked, not from waves, but from something else. Their skin had a gray film on it. Morrison refused to speak. He was taken below decks and sedated. Foster, the radio man, was the only one who could articulate what happened.
Radio man Jack Foster's official statement, recorded by Commander Hartley on April 8, 1945. When we got within 30 yards, I could see the patterns on the surface clearly. They looked like scales, but they were shifting, moving in waves across the object. I thought maybe it was the moonlight playing tricks, but Morrison saw it too. He ordered us to pull back. That's when it opened. I can't explain it better than that. Part of the surface just opened, like an eye opening, except it wasn't an eye, it was a cavity. A gap in the surface maybe 10 feet across, and inside that gap was light, not bright, dim, but it was the wrong color. Blue-green, like deep water, but glowing from inside. Morrison was yelling for us to retreat, but before we could turn the boat, we felt water hit us, spray from the object. Except it wasn't normal spray. It felt thick, oily. It covered all of us. That's when we saw things moving inside the opening. Not like fish, like appendages reaching out. We got the engine started and ran. When I looked back, the opening was closing. The object was sinking, but I swear I saw it tracking us as we escaped, following us with that opening like it was watching. Foster's clothing was collected and sealed. His testimony was classified. But these revelations were just the beginning. Commander Hartley sent an urgent encrypted message to ComSubPac detailing the whaleboat incident. This time, he received a response within 6 hours. Decoded message, dated April 8, 1945, declassified 2024. Maintain position. Do not engage contact. Observational protocol only. Additional orders forthcoming. Classification, ultra secret. Ultra secret. The highest classification level during World War II, reserved for intelligence more sensitive than even top secret materials. We remained on station for 3 more days. Each time we surfaced, the object appeared. Each time we observed but did not approach. On April 11th, we received new orders. Rendezvous with USS Barb, another submarine operating in the area. We were to brief their captain on what we'd encountered. We met the Barb on April 12th, 150 miles south of our previous position. Captain Eugene Fluckey commanded the Barb. In his later published memoir, Thunder Below, 1992, Fluckey devoted exactly 3 sentences to this meeting. "We rendezvoused with Lionfish on April 12th. Hartley briefed me on an unusual contact his crew had encountered. After consultation with higher command, we agreed on observational protocols for future patrols." What Fluckey didn't publish was contained in his personal papers, donated to the Naval War College in 1999. Hartley looked like a man who'd seen the devil. His XO, Morrison, was catatonic. Hartley told me they'd encountered something that defied explanation. He showed me Foster's statement and the clothing samples. The material on the clothing was organic, but unlike any marine life he'd seen. He asked if I'd ever encountered anything similar. I hadn't, but after he left, I checked our own patrol logs. We detected unidentified sonar contacts on 3 separate occasions, contacts that maintained course and speed like vessels, but had biological acoustic signatures. The declassified documents released in 2024 included a bombshell. Patrol reports from 7 other U.S. submarines operating in the Pacific between March and June 1945 that documented similar encounters. USS Archerfish detected unidentified biological contact tracking submarine, April 2, 1945. USS Batfish reported object surfacing 600 yards from submarine during battery charge, April 18, 1945. Object described as large, dark, non-vessel. USS Seahorse. Sonar contact maintaining parallel course for 6 hours, May 3, 1945. Contact exhibited intelligent tracking behavior. USS Spadefish. Lookout reported massive aquatic object surface alongside submarine, May 11, 1945. Object submerged when searchlight activated. USS Tenosa. Detected contact at bearings similar to submarine course for 12 hours, May 15, 1945. Lost contact when submerged below 2,000 feet. USS Ronquil. Multiple sonar contacts showing coordinated movement patterns, June 1, 1945. USS Piper. Reported object rising beneath submarine during surfacing procedure, June 8, 1945. Emergency dive initiated. All reports were classified ultra-secret. All submarines were ordered to continue observation but avoid engagement. No public acknowledgement of these encounters was ever made. The clothing samples from Radio Man Foster were transferred to Naval Intelligence when the Lionfish returned to Pearl Harbor. The samples were sent to a classified laboratory for analysis. A memorandum dated May 28, 1945, from the Office of Naval Intelligence, declassified 2024. Analysis of organic material recovered from personnel aboard USS Lionfish reveals composition inconsistent with known marine biology. Material contains amino acid sequences not found in terrestrial or marine species documented in scientific literature. Cellular structure exhibits characteristics of both plant and animal tissue. Material remains biologically active 18 days after collection. Cells continue to divide and reorganize. Recommendation: classify all related materials ultra-secret. Expand observational protocols. Establish monitoring network for similar encounters. Advise all submarine commanders to report unidentified biological contacts through secure channels only. The Navy established what they called the Aquatic Anomaly Observation Network in June 1945. 17 submarines were equipped with enhanced sonar equipment and instructed to document any encounters with unidentified biological contacts. Documents reveal that between June and August 1945, the network recorded 43 separate encounters across the Pacific. Then, in August 1945, after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, something changed. The encounters stopped.
The last documented sighting was August 9, 1945, the day the second atomic bomb was dropped. Documents revealed that officials knew something was tracking American submarines. They knew it was biological, but unprecedented. They knew it exhibited intelligent behavior. The evidence points to something far more organized than random marine life encounters.
When the USS Lionfish returned to Pearl Harbor on May 14, 1945, we expected debriefing and investigation. Instead, we received orders that ended our careers. The crew was immediately separated. I was reassigned to a training facility in San Diego. Chief Martinez was transferred to Naval Intelligence. Radioman Foster was assigned to a desk job in Washington, D.C. Lieutenant Morrison was medically discharged. Commander Hartley remained in command of the Lionfish for one more patrol in July 1945. That patrol's logs are still classified. We were ordered never to discuss what we'd encountered. The threat was explicit: courts-martial, imprisonment, dishonorable discharge. For decades, we remained silent. Then, in 1992, Chief Martinez gave his only interview to a researcher studying World War II's submarine operations. Martinez never mentioned the object directly. He spoke only about unusual sonar contacts and unexplained phenomena. The researcher, Dr. Sarah Chen, became intrigued. She filed Freedom of Information Act requests for patrol reports from submarines operating in the Pacific in 1945. She was told the documents were still classified for national security reasons. Dr. Chen filed appeals for 15 years. In 2007, she sued the Department of Defense under FOIA. In 2024, 17 years after filing suit, the Navy released partial documents. The released materials confirmed that multiple submarines had encountered unidentified biological contacts. They confirmed that samples were collected and analyzed. They confirmed that the encounters ceased in August 1945. But they revealed something more troubling. Buried in the declassified documents was reference to a classified program established in 1946, Operation Deepwatch. The operational summary, heavily redacted: Operation Deepwatch established June 1946 for purpose of monitoring oceanographic anomalies in the Pacific Theater. Primary objective: detection and tracking of large biological entities exhibiting non-typical behavior patterns. Secondary objective: assessment of potential threat to naval operations. Assets assigned: 4 diesel-electric submarines, oceanographic research vessels, acoustic monitoring stations across Pacific. Operational parameters redacted. Significant findings: 1946 to 1952 redacted. Program status redacted. Current classification top secret redacted. Operation Deepwatch ran for at least 6 years. The program's conclusions and current status remain classified. Dr. Sarah Chen obtained testimony from 3 former Navy personnel who claimed involvement in Deepwatch operations. Commander James Riley, retired, submarine officer 1946 to 1958. We weren't hunting Soviet subs in those years. We were looking for something else, something that had been detected during the war. We called them deep anomalies. We detected them regularly between 1946 and 1951, then they disappeared, or went deeper. Sonar Technician Chief Michael Torres, retired, 1948 to 1962. The acoustic signatures we tracked weren't animals. They were too large, too organized. They moved in patterns, sometimes alone, sometimes in groups. We logged hundreds of contacts. Every report was classified immediately. Oceanographic Dr. Martha Reeves, civilian contractor, 1950 to 1954. I was brought in to analyze biological samples collected by Deepwatch operations. The samples were unlike anything in the marine biology literature. Cellular structures that didn't match known taxonomy. I recommended further study. I was removed from the program and ordered to sign confidentiality agreements.
The Navy has never officially acknowledged Operation Deepwatch. Decades later, the government finally admitted that submarines encountered unidentified biological entities during World War II, but maintains they were likely unknown whale species or misidentified marine life.
What did we encounter in the Pacific in 1945? Marine biologists, former naval officers, and researchers have developed several theories based on the declassified evidence. Theory 1. Unknown marine species. Dr. Robert Ballard, oceanographer and former Navy officer, analyzed the patrol reports in 2024. The Pacific Ocean remains 95% unexplored. Large, unidentified species have been discovered as recently as 2021. It's possible these submarines encountered a species unknown to science, perhaps deep ocean cephalopods or large cnidarians, capable of size and behavior not yet documented. Problems with this theory? The coordinated tracking behavior, the geometric surface patterns, the light emission, the organized cessation of encounters after August 1945. Theory 2. Japanese experimental technology. Military historian James Bradley suggested Japan was developing unconventional weapons in 1945, biological warfare, chemical weapons, and other desperate measures. Is it possible these submarines encountered Japanese experimental craft or biological weapons tests? Problems with this theory? Japanese records contain no reference to biological experiments matching these descriptions. The technology required would exceed 1945 capabilities. The entities appeared across thousands of miles of ocean, beyond Japanese operational range. Theory 3. Seismic or volcanic activity. Geologist Dr. Amanda Torres proposed the Pacific Ring of Fire was highly active in 1945. Underwater volcanic activity could create acoustic signatures resembling biological contacts. Thermal vents could explain the light emission. Problems with this theory? Volcanic activity doesn't track submarines, doesn't explain physical encounters, surface observations, or biological samples. Theory 4. Non-terrestrial origin. This theory, while speculative, has gained consideration among researchers since the Navy's 2023 acknowledgement of Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, UAP. The theory suggests the entities were not marine life, but non-terrestrial technology or life forms using the ocean environment. Supporting evidence: intelligence tracking behavior, apparent response to human technology, appearing during surface operations, cessation of activity after nuclear weapons demonstration, biological samples that don't match terrestrial taxonomy. Dr. Chen's analysis: I'm not claiming aliens. I'm saying the evidence doesn't fit conventional explanations. Something was in the Pacific in 1945 that tracked our submarines, interacted with our crews, and disappeared after we demonstrated nuclear capability. Whether that's unknown marine life or something else, we deserve answers.
The timing of the encounter's ending, August 9th, 1945, the day of the Nagasaki bombing, has generated particular speculation. The final documented encounter came from USS Piper. On August 9th, at 14:30 hours, Piper detected a contact approaching from below while surfacing. Emergency dive initiated. No physical sighting. After August 9th, no submarine reported similar encounters through the end of 1945. Dr. Marcus Webb, physicist and naval historian, noted, "If these were intelligent entities, they would have detected our nuclear weapons tests, the Trinity test in July 1945, then Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Perhaps they assessed us as too dangerous. Perhaps they decided surveillance was complete. Perhaps they left." Operation Deepwatch continued finding contacts through 1951. But the behavior changed. Post-1945 contacts were deeper, faster to avoid detection, less interactive. By 1952, contacts became increasingly rare. The program's conclusion and final findings remain classified. The 112 crew members of USS Lionfish during that March-May 1945 patrol experienced vastly different fates. Commander James Hartley continued submarine command through 1946, then requested transfer to desk duty. He never commanded at sea again. He died in 1963. His family reported he suffered nightmares and refused to discuss his wartime service. Lieutenant Morrison was medically discharged in June 1945 with diagnosis of combat stress reaction. He spent 2 years in psychiatric care. He never spoke publicly about his service. He died in 1978. Radioman Jack Foster completed his service in 1946. He worked as an electrical engineer for 40 years. Before his death in 1998, he told his daughter, "Something happened during the war that I was ordered never to discuss. I've kept that promise. When I die, the truth dies with me." Chief Martinez gave his single interview in 1992, never mentioning specifics. He died in 1994. Of the 112 crew members, 73 have died. Of the 39 still living as of 2024, only 7 have agreed to speak with researchers. None will discuss the encounters on record. I'm the last crew member willing to break silence. The Navy's official position, classified patrol reports contain no evidence of anomalous encounters. All reports of unidentified contacts were likely misidentified marine life or equipment malfunction. But I know what I heard on sonar. I know what the crew saw. I know what Foster's clothing looked like when he came aboard. Recent revelations suggest we weren't the only witnesses. Operation Deepwatch proves the Navy took these encounters seriously enough to establish years of monitoring operations. What else happened in those depths that remains classified? What did Deepwatch discover? Where did the entities go, and are they still down there? 79 years after my encounter aboard the Lionfish, critical questions remain unanswered. What were they? Despite decades of oceanographic research and marine biology advances, no known species matches the descriptions from 1945. The entities were too large, too coordinated, too responsive to be explained by current scientific understanding. The biological samples analyzed in 1945 showed cellular structures inconsistent with known life. Where are those samples now? Are they still being studied? The Navy refuses to comment. Why did they track submarines? The pattern was clear. Entities appeared specifically during surface operations when submarines were most vulnerable and visible. They maintained surveillance but rarely approached. They avoided engagement. This suggests intelligence, purpose, assessment. What were they assessing? What information were they gathering? Why did they stop? The cessation of encounters after August 1945 is perhaps the most troubling aspect. If these were natural marine animals, they wouldn't respond to human technology demonstrations. But if they were intelligent observers, they might. Did the atomic bombs frighten them away? Did they complete their surveillance? Did they go deeper, beyond our detection capability? What did Operation Deepwatch discover? The program ran for at least 6 years. 4 submarines, multiple research vessels, acoustic monitoring stations across the Pacific. This represented massive resource allocation. What were they finding? What did they conclude? Why is everything still classified after 79 years? Former Naval Intelligence Officer Richard Morrison, no relation to the Lionfish XO, stated in 2022, "Classification this long suggests either embarrassing error or ongoing activity. Either the Navy discovered nothing and doesn't want to admit wasting resources, or they discovered something still relevant to national security." In researching this documentary, I've discovered that unidentified underwater contacts have never stopped. The Navy's Integrated Undersea Surveillance System, a network of underwater listening devices established during the Cold War, has detected thousands of unidentified acoustic signatures since its installation. Most are explained as whale songs, geological activity, or equipment malfunction. Some are not. In 1997, NOAA detected an ultra-low frequency underwater sound, dubbed the bloop, powerful enough to be detected on multiple sensors over 3,000 miles apart. The sound profile suggested a living creature, but no animal large enough to produce such sounds is known to exist. NOAA officially attributed it to ice quakes. Some researchers remain skeptical. In 2007, researchers detected acoustic signatures near the original lionfish encounter area. The signatures showed coordinated movement patterns inconsistent with known marine life. In 2012, multiple submarine crews reported unexplained sonar contacts during exercises in the Pacific. The reports were classified. In 2018, commercial fishing vessels in the same waters reported nets coming up empty, despite sonar showing large masses of marine life, masses that dispersed too quickly for biological entities. To this day, submarine crews occasionally report contacts that can't be identified. The official response remains consistent: equipment malfunction or misidentified marine life. But veterans of submarine service tell different stories in private. Captain retired David Chen, submarine commander 2010 to 2020, spoke off record. Every submariner has a story about weird contacts, things that track too precisely, things that respond to our movements, things that appear on sonar but disappear when we try to engage. We're told not to speculate. We're told it's classified, but everyone knows something's down there. I've received letters from other World War II veterans since news of the declassified documents broke. Men who served on other submarines, men who encountered similar phenomena, men who've been silent for decades. Their stories match mine. Something was in those waters. Maybe it still is. I'm 98 years old. I've lived with this secret for 79 years. I served aboard the USS Lionfish with honor. We hunted enemy vessels, survived depth charges, watched friends die in combat. We did our duty. But what we encountered in March and April of 1945 was not part of any war we trained for. The verified facts. 7 U.S. submarines documented encounters with unidentified biological entities between March and August 1945. These entities tracked submarines, appeared during surface operations, exhibited intelligent behavior, and defied scientific explanation. Biological samples were collected and analyzed, showing cellular structures inconsistent with known species. The encounters ceased after the atomic bombings. The Navy established a 6-year monitoring program that remains classified. What remains hidden? The full patrol logs, the complete Operation Deepwatch findings, the biological analysis results, the acoustic signatures that continued to be detected, the truth about what's in the depths of the Pacific. In his final letter, Commander Hartley wrote, "We should have sent us back. We left it down there." I've spent 79 years wondering what he meant. Did we leave something behind? Did we fail to investigate thoroughly? Or did we leave something undisturbed that should have been studied? The ocean covers 71% of our planet. We've explored less than 5% of it. The deepest trenches remain unmapped. The darkest waters remain unilluminated. What else is down there? In 2023,
The Navy officially acknowledged unidentified aerial phenomena. They admitted that pilots have encountered objects demonstrating technology beyond current human capability. They established formal reporting protocols. They've never done the same for underwater encounters. The silence continues. The USS Lionfish was decommissioned in 1971. Today, she serves as a museum ship in Fall River, Massachusetts. Visitors walk her decks, tour her compartments, imagine life aboard a WWII submarine. They don't know what we encountered. They don't know what we left down there. I've told my story now. The Navy can confirm or deny it. Other veterans can come forward or remain silent. Researchers can investigate or dismiss it. But somewhere in the depths of the Pacific, 500 yards off the starboard beam of some future vessel, something may be waiting, watching. Some secrets stay buried beneath thousands of feet of water. Others surface when we least expect them.